Have you ever experienced a situation where you spend minutes and hours creating content, thinking it will be loved by your audience, only to discover that you had zero to less engagement when you posted it? Should I your content based on what you feel like sharing or what your audience wants to hear? All of these we will be discussing in today's episode of the DFY Show. Welcome to the DFY Show, where we empower entrepreneurs, professionals, and business owners with valuable resources to accelerate their growth and unlock your full potential. I'm your host, Damilola Felicia Badmus, and in each episode, we will dive into the strategies, insights, and success stories that drive personal and business growth. Whether you're looking to level up your branding, master marketing techniques, or embrace entrepreneurship, the DFY Show is your one-stop destination for inspiration and knowledge. So grab your pen and papers and let's dive in. A month ago, I asked my LinkedIn community via poll on what is their biggest challenge when it comes to building and scaling their personal brand on LinkedIn. And 38% said it's creating compelling content. 27% said it's generating leads. 32% said it's managing time and consistency. So we can see that content creation is a very big deal. And from the topic of this podcast, we are having the conversation on tips for creating an engaging LinkedIn post that resonates with your target audience. Now, a lot of people have been having these issues. I get a lot of DMs, a lot of questions, and hey, Dami, I've been making posts and I get zero to no engagement, and I've been posting on LinkedIn and I do not generate leads. It can be frustrating, I understand, which is why I just want to give some tips on what I think can solve some of those problems. And it depends on your niche. It depends on what you're doing. It depends on a whole lot of factors, but we're going to be uncovering all of them. But before creating content, we need to understand that creating content can be a daunting task, which I understand it can be very daunting. But before we talk about the tips, what are the common challenges when it comes to creating content? Like I said earlier via that poll, that 38% said that it's creating compelling content. So content is king, like we know, but content is also another big deal that people get to face. So now when it comes to creating content, what are the challenges? One, we have writing the language your audience understands. That means that writing content in a way that your audience can resonate with can be a big challenge to some people. Another one is maintaining a regular posting schedule. Now, this one is also a very big deal to some people, because some people are like, okay, I post on Monday, I don't know what to post on Wednesday. And then they leave, they vanish, and they don't come back to like 4 or 5 weeks later. So I can't understand that. Another one is making content that is relevant to your target audience, interests, and needs, which I'm going to be touching on very soon. We have another challenge that is creating content that stands out and grab attention. So that's another challenge. People are having challenge on, okay, what kind of content can I create that will make me stand out? Then there's another one of lack of motivation and you don't have engagement on your post. Like I said earlier, that can be very frustrating. Imagine you working so hard, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, only for you to want to make a post. You're happy, you're excited. Okay, you press the send button and post button rather. 5 minutes, no one like. 10 minutes, no reaction. 30 minutes, no one is engaging. 40 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. You're going to get discouraged. There is no doubt about that. So lack of motivation can be a reason why some people probably give up posting. Thinking of what to produce is also another problem. Okay, what do I want to produce? Lack of time is also another challenge. Now, to share some of the ideas on how to solve these challenges, we might be infusing some case studies just for us to be able to understand better and probably share some example. So what is the number one tip for creating engaging content? Number one tip I would say is know your target audience. Now, understanding your target audience is a foundation of creating content for your LinkedIn or even social media in general, or even in your business. Because if you do not know who your target audience is, that is number one way to fail, because you would be talking to the wrong people, you would not understand their language. So you need to understand their target. You need to understand your target audience rather. Who are you trying to reach with your posts? What are their interests? What are their needs? What are their pain points? So defining your target audience would help you to tailor your content to suit their needs. It will help you to know, okay, this is how I can relate with them. People that are maybe targeting Gen Zs will know how to relate with Gen Zs. People that are trying to target millennials will know the right words to say to millennials that would trigger their interest. So let's use the example of an HR manager. Let's call the name of the HR manager David. Now, David is trying to build his authority as an HR leader in a multinational firm. Now, David has over 15 years experience being a human resource manager rather. So how can David start? He's looking at it like, you know what? My target audience are going to be people in my niche, number one, people that are below me, and also people that are future employers. So he's looking at three different audiences. One, future employers. Two, his fellow peers in the industry. And number three, people that are looking up to becoming human resource manager. So he has identified his target audience now. So what is going to be the second step? You need to understand your audience needs and interests. Because once you've defined your target audience, it is crucial to understand their needs and their interests. You need to know, okay, what challenges do these people face in their professional and business lives? What topics are they interested in? Because by understanding their needs and interests, we can create content that resonates with them and provide value. So going back to our example, which is David, who is the human resource manager. Now he has identified his audience. So the next question he's asking is, okay, what are their needs and their interests? So looking at potential employers, which is part of David's target audience, it can be like, okay, you know what? Employers might be looking at someone that understands the game of human resources, someone that understands that industries very well. So that means it's going to be creating a lot of content about how to handle employees, for example, how to beat your KPIs, how to deal with a difficult employee, how to ensure there is a common ground within employees in the industry, in the workplace, how to ensure that conflicts are minimized. So all of those conversations are things that employers are going to be interested in. Now, talking about people, his peers, if he's also having conversations around that niche, his peers will see him as a thought leader, and they can also always go to him if they have any help or if they need anything. And they can also reach out to him for collaborations, right? So if we have the third category, which are people looking up to future, looking at how to get jobs in the human resource department, or some people that are trying to scale up, by David writing content that resonates with this, those ones will see him as a role model. Some of them will see him as a mentor. Some of them will see him as a leader that they can reach out to. And because of that, it's going to create a lot of opportunities like speaking engagements, job opportunities, collaborations, awards, article writings, and so much more. So if you can understand your audience demographic, understand their needs and their interests, it's going to help you to narrow down your focus. And then we'll now move on to the content creation proper, because those two are more of a foundation to getting started. Now, creating a strong headline will be one of the most important steps when it comes to content creation, because when you want to write a content, last week we spoke about how you should build your online portfolio, create your LinkedIn profile makeover and all of those things. So now when all of those are done, and then you want to create a post. What you should now look out for is, number one, create a strong headline, because whatever content it is that you write, people, before someone can click on the see more or click on the three dot button after a sentence, you need to know what would make them want to read more of what you've written. So a solo entrepreneur called Justin Welsh on LinkedIn says that in order to build a following that people can buy from, you should consider content that either teaches or educates, content that entertains, content that makes you think, which is more of a philosophical content kind of thing, and content that is high on empathy. So this means that if your content reaches out to your audience and says, look, I understand what you're going through, you get to draw your audience closer to your brand. Because a lot of people are interested in brands that speak to their pain points. Everyone needs someone to solve their problem. And if you can do this, you're going to win the hearts of people that are following you. And when you understand your best content style that suits your approach, you can do a number of things. Because, what we keep saying about branding is that you have to be yourself. So if you're someone that doesn't like video content or creating videos, then you do not have to do that. If you're someone that doesn't like to put your face out all of the time, then it's not compulsory. If you're not someone that likes to just be everywhere, you can build your brand around that as long as it makes you comfortable. So you can create catchy headlines like adding a number, 5 ways to become a better version of yourself, 10 ways to scale to the next levels, 10 things to avoid as an entrepreneur, 10 things to do as a business leader. Some of these very catchy headlines can really work for you. I've done a lot of number games when it comes to content, and I would say that it really, really worked for me. If your headline includes a number, your readers will know that your articles will list some tips, some tricks, or piece of advice. Look at it yourself. If you should go on Google and maybe you type 5 ways or how to keep my home free from spiders, and then go on Google search and type how to keep my home free of spiders. If you see a content that says on headline that says 5 ways to kill spiders completely from your home, you're going to click on that because it's going to give you different options, or it's going to give you a list, and you sort of feel like those kind of contents can help you faster than someone that just keeps writing a lot of stories and it's not going straight to the point. So you can add a number, you can add a call to action, tell your audience what to do. So take, for example, using our HR guy as our case study, if he's trying to use a content which is more on call to actions, it can be like how to stop conflict in the organization or what to do to stop conflict in the organization. Some of these are call to action because it's calling your attention to how to stop something. So draw a picture in your audience mind, address your audience pain points, and this is going to work for you. You can also use storytelling techniques because by telling a story, you can create an emotional connection with your audience and make your content more memorable. Share stories, include things that will make your audience want to connect with you. For example, the HR guy now, he can give a story of how he dealt with a difficult employee. So by telling a story, you can draw your audience to you and they will be interested in whatever it is that you want to say. You can also include visuals in your post because including images like videos or infographics in your post can help your audience, can catch your audience's attention and convey your message more effectively. And by the time you add this, it sort of make people know you more. Like I said earlier, it's not compulsory, but if you think that, okay, you can try to do this, you can see if it's going to work for you and if it's not going to work for you. You can also add towards the end of your post things like call to actions, ask your audience a question, tell them to visit your website, to download the resources, to drop a comment on what they think is right or what they think of the topic that you were sharing. Now, other tips that can help. We have using bullet points and lists in your post. So still going back to our HR guy, if he says that, we made mention of things like 5 ways to be a better version of yourself. Let's say you have those 5 points. There are sometimes that using maybe some bullet points rather than numbers can help. There's sometimes that if you go to your emoji on your phone, on your keyboard, and then you have the emoji section, if you try to check for different kind of points, interesting symbols that you can just use, it sort of makes your content very interesting. So you can play around that. You can also add emojis and hashtags. Come on, we're all humans. You can try to add a sense of humor in your posts. You can add hashtags. I feel like hashtags are very important. And also, you trying to have your own personal hashtag can make your content go far, because if, let's say, David, the HR guy, he can decide to create his own hashtag and say David HR or something interesting like that, so that if people follow that, they can always see the kind of content that you put out. And also using relevant hashtags that are very popular, because a lot of people follow different hashtags. So if your hashtag, whatever content it is that you make, and then you have an hashtag that goes with that post, it's going to help your post to be more visible to other people. So for me, I try to use hashtags like personal branding consultant. I have my own personal hashtag that I tend to use. So when you click on hashtag DFY talks, you're going to see the different kind of content that I have done in the past. So try to play with different content types as well. Use images, use text posts, use infographics. Canva is a very good tool that you can really work with. I must confess, they have tons of content types that you can work with, and you can also play around with different content types to see the one that best works for you. So play with different content types, understand the LinkedIn algorithm, because this algorithm factor is a very interesting one. And I think sometimes back, I checked on my profile and I sort of checked where the kind of people that are following me, their locations, what they do. And it sort of gave me a blueprint on how I can scale my content to be where it has to be or where it needs to be. So you need to understand the algorithm. You need to understand your analytics. And how can you get your analytics? Very simple. Once you just check your profile dashboard, you're going to see your analytics there, and also your different posts. You can also see your post impressions, where the people that like your content most are coming from. And you can use all of this to make an informed decision of how your content is going to be. Next one is identify the best posting times. Now, I would say that there are different opinions about this matter, because some say that Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Wednesdays are the best time to post. Some say that between 8 to 10 a.m. Some say between 12 to 1 p.m. So I would say that, morning times are very good, because people just open their phone either while they're on the train, or they're going to work, or they're at work, and they just want to scroll through their feed before they get to work. So posting in morning time can be helpful. However, you can go for the one that suits you best, because the moment you start becoming very consistent, your audience are going to get used to your timing. I know someone that makes a post for 6 a.m. in the morning, and obviously when I open my LinkedIn for 8 a.m., a post gets to be the first thing that I get to notice. Next one is you need to be consistent, because consistency beats everything all day, any day. So the more consistent you are when it comes to posting, the more people are going to see you, and the more your content becomes relevant and more visible to other people. You can also use video content. Contents are doing very well as well. Sometimes just showing your face to your audience can help you in ways that you can't even imagine. At least they get to feel you, they get to see who you are, and you can relate with your audience through videos, and it sort of creates a very emotional relationship, even if you've not seen them in person. You can also leverage groups. You can also work with LinkedIn audio events or LinkedIn Live. Audio events is my best place because I get to relate with my audience. And the funniest thing is that people from different parts of the world get to connect with you. So LinkedIn audio events are a very good way to show yourself to your audience, and also a kind of content piece that I find very interesting. And I think you have to reach a certain number of followers and you have to be on creator mode before you can be able to have access to LinkedIn audio. While for LinkedIn video events, it's a bit more complicated. You have to either stream with a third party to like WeStream and StreamYard. But for LinkedIn audio, you can just create the event directly on your LinkedIn profile and you are good to go. Next one also is leverage LinkedIn groups and just try as much as possible to send DMs to engage on people's contacts, DMs rather. And all of those things can help you because when you engage on people's posts, you get to see ideas of the kind of posts that you can create. And that can help you to become a more effective writer. So in conclusion, if you find your posts are not performing well, don't be afraid to make changes to your strategies. Don't be afraid to try new things. After all, trying new things wouldn't harm anybody, right? So don't be afraid to experiment with different content types, headlines, visuals, posting time to see what works best for you. And I hope that with these tips, your post will skyrocket. And if you still need help with leveraging or building your business brand or your personal brand, don't forget that you can reach me on LinkedIn at Damilola Felicia Badmus, or you can check my website, realbrandacademy.com. And also forget to mention that I have a book titled How LinkedIn Works, How to Attract Your Target Audience. This book literally broke down everything that has to do with how to use LinkedIn from the beginning to the end, understanding the LinkedIn features, and so much more. And you can have access to the book on Amazon. Just type How LinkedIn Works and it's going to come out. So see, I come your way next week. Ensure that you have a lovely time. And my name remains Damilola Felicia Badmus. And I will see you on the next episode. And yes, do not forget to connect with me on LinkedIn at Damilola Felicia Badmus till I come your way again. Bye for now.